Hi, welcome to another Infinity Terrain video. This video is going to be something a little bit different. So it's still Infinity themed, but I'm actually going to show you the Antenocitis Workshop tournament tray that I picked up off Antenocitis Workshop. So again, just go to the preamble. This isn't a sponsored stream. This is something which we purchased for our own use. It's my army case effectively. If anyone does want to sponsor stuff, they can send stuff in. Just contact us on Facebook and we'll sort something out. But again, we always give honest reviews of the stuff that we review. So although this isn't a terrain piece, it is made out of MDF. So I think there's a lot of synergies with the stuff that we're covering on the video. And obviously a lot of people are Infinity players. So I wanted to show people the quality of this tray that you set up that Antenocitis Workshop have come up with. Antenocitis Workshop tend to lead the way in a lot of the newer stuff, the gadgety stuff that they do, and often they're imitated. So often, once they've done something, someone else comes along and does something similar. So, for example, they did some really nice decals that they're actually cut around. So when you pop the decal out, you don't have to cut around it with a craft knife because they've actually almost etched around the decal. So it just works really well. It's a lot easier to pop out. So they've got a really wide range of decals, and that's really useful for some of the terrain projects you might do if you're doing, like, for example, cars or cabs or stuff like that. They've got decals that work with all of those. But on to the tournament tray. So firstly, the models here, this is my new Onyx army. This is only a small portion of it, obviously. I actually had this painted for me by a commission painter called Figureworks. Now I'll put a link into the video for their contact details as well. I was really pleased with the quality for the price that I was getting for these models. The reason why they're actually on the tray at the moment is just to show you how I've magnetized the bases so that they fit into the tray. But again, I definitely recommend Figureworks if you're looking for get your army painted. I just don't have time to paint an army myself at the moment. So, and I'll be doing my next batch of models will be going off to them again shortly to do the next bit. So firstly, if we just turn it around, you can see you've got these carry handles that make it nice and solid, easy to carry. You've got some etching around all sides. And one trick, by the way, if you buy the kit, you'll find that this stuff will have a load of like a sort of decal paper in it first. I'm just chipped off the edge. There'll be like a load of decal paper in the edge. Now, you generally have to peel off the decal paper from the pre-painted Antenocitis stuff, but because of the nature of this, you'll end up with bits left. All you need to do is literally just take your thumb or your finger and rub it over the bit, and it'll actually peel off any leftover bits of the decal paper. So again, that's all sides of it. It looks really nice. It's been professionally done. You then get a tray bit that just lifts out at the top. And then we get onto the interesting part. So firstly, there's a space down here for the books. Now, I haven't got the books in here at the moment, but it's designed to specifically fit the books. Now, it doesn't quite fit my iPad Pro, which is 12 inches. So actually, we can just tell you here, if I just line it up with the... Yeah, so it's basically just about 12 inches gap in here, just a little bit more than 12 inches. The iPad Pro is 12 inches, 0.9, so it's annoyingly just a little bit much. And the reason why I say that is because I think a lot of people will actually end up keeping a tablet in there. So if you've got like something like an Amazon Fire 10-inch tablet or a smaller iPad, that will comfortably fit into that little gap. You may want to, add some extra security around just stopping it from fitting out, but it should not sit nicely in there without any issue at all. If you still use the books, then obviously you can put the books in there, but I think a lot of people have moved to using tablets for Infinity in particular. You then end up with your token and accessories tray, so that literally just slides out. Now, one slight downside to this is obviously you're assembling something MDF wise, so you've got a certain amount of tolerance on the fit. So you may, as it gets more used, it will be more smooth going in and out. But what you may find is you just start to clip stuff until you get it really sort of nice and smooth and well used. That's not a huge problem, but just bear in mind there will be a bit of tolerance in that. So you might have to sand some edges down if you want to get it working nice and smoothly. I mean, they've designed it perfectly so it all fits well, but obviously when you come to assemble it, if you misalign something slightly, then you might end up with a little bit of a problem here. So what you get in your tray basically is, so if we just move this out of the way for a second and I'll show you the tray piece. So what you've got here, you've got a space for some dice here, you've got your space for your cards here, and then you've got a card holder here, so you can basically take a card out and pop it into the card holder. You then have a nice, quite large space designed specifically for the template. So you can see there's actually a gap left here so that the large teardrop template can actually fit in. You then end up with a series of different token spaces. So you end up with some space for 25mm tokens and some space for the smaller Micro Art Studio tokens as well. But what you can also do is you can actually take these little frames out, either to use it easier, or also you've got space for more full-size tokens below it. So if you don't like using the smaller tokens and don't have any, you just leave these two trays off and you can put everything onto the smaller side. Or you can literally just use these smaller trays like I do to have the smaller tokens. I prefer them. I still use some larger tokens as well for variety, for things like TO markers, repeaters, etc., where you need a size-based token. So that's a really nice feature, and I really like that. And just, as you can see, they just slot in and fit in quite nicely. Now, the only slight downside is they don't fit the Micro Art Studio's square command point tokens. So if you've got some of these, you'll just need to leave them. As you can see, they don't quite fit, so you just have to leave them in your dice tray. It's not a big issue, but I thought I'd mention it to people. So as I mentioned, again, you've got plenty of space for your templates. I've got some of this is war snow templates. So I've got some of the smoke markers as well for your and it fits in here nicely. You've got some space left. If you have a thin tape measure, then you'll probably be able to put your tape measure in here as well. If you're using like a bigger tape measure from somewhere like B&Q, maybe a more a chunky one, then you might struggle to get in there alongside the tokens. It just depends on your individual tape measure. So let's move the token tray out of the way and pull back to this tray. So firstly, the black bit here does not come with the kit. These two pieces, effectively, when you come to assemble them, you would normally put together. Now, what I've done is I've taken a normal sheet of magnetic paper, an A4 sort of magnetic sheet, and I've placed it in between the two frames, and that gives me a magnetic base in these slots. You'll notice as well you also get a load of adapters. So for example, these larger slots can be turned into 40mm or 25mm slots using the adapters. I've only got one adapter piece in at the moment, but you do get enough adapters to convert a number. You'll also notice here these ones here act as either 4 25mm spaces or one 40mm space. Now what I've done here is, you can see I've put triple 3mm by 3mm magnets, and I've actually used MDF bases to make it easier to drill the magnets into, and that just gives me enough sort of you can't really see it in the video, but there's a certain amount of tension from the magnets here, and it just gives me enough tension there to hold them down. Now originally I tried to do the single models using a single magnet in the center. That wasn't enough pull power, so in this case I've actually added 4 or 3 magnets depending on the model around the edges, and those are just 1mm magnets, so they don't make a huge amount of difference to the model, and the model will still sit flat perfectly because there's enough magnets to provide a base for it, and it just gives it that extra bit of magnetic power to keep the base in there. What I'm doing for my next batch of models, which I've got one of here, I went for the same approach. I went with the 40mm one, where I've actually put 3 by 3mm straight in, and that would effectively give me the right amount of tension there just to hold the case, to keep the model safe. There's no cover for the case, you don't really need one, and as I mentioned, just the thing you're just going to have to watch out for is when you come to place it back in, it might just be a little bit fiddly, but again, when you get to slide it back in, you just have to, as I say, this motion will get smoother and smoother as you use the case more and more. And then we'll just put the front flap down. And the front flap's more there just to stop the books falling out or your tablet falling out, and to keep the tray in place. So again, although it's not a train video, I think this video is really useful for people who are maybe interested in picking up the Antenocitis Workshop tournament tray. I'm very impressed with it. I think it was about £45 in UK. Antenocitis Workshop tend to do free shipping in the UK, certainly in the UK. I'm not sure about worldwide, but they do free shipping or discounted shipping. Basically, if you're buying their products rather than just stuff that they resell. So any of their vehicles, terrain, the Infinity case, etc., you can usually pick up a good postage deal on as well. So hopefully you found this video useful. As Infinity players, I'm sure you did. Whether you choose to pick one up or whether you choose to use army bags or anything else to transport your minis is entirely up to you. So once again, you can find a link to our Facebook channel in the links below. There'll be a link to the Antenocitis Workshop channel. Again, I'll put a link into the Figureworks guys who did the painting for this army for me. Again, I paid for that all myself, so it's not sponsored as such. But if anyone does want to sponsor any of the streams or provide any kits for review or demonstration purposes, feel free to contact me through the Facebook pages. So thanks very much and for watching this video. Leave any comments below in the YouTube channel or on the Facebook pages. Thank you very much.